Tonight on CTV News at 11:30. Inclement weather puts evacuations on hold in Kashechewan.
I want to get these people to safety so they have some running water to bathe and drink and have a shower.
We'll have the latest on the situation as the community deals with its state of emergency. Plus, a Sudbury couple say their dog was attacked by a pack of coyotes.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere, just like 4 more just came out of nowhere.
Experts say they'll go after cats and dogs any time of day. And the Calendar School is getting a big expansion.
It's a necessity almost to really expand this school.
The area school board says it comes at a perfect time. They need the space.
CTV News at 11:30 with Ian Campbell and Rick Wyman with weather.
Well, good evening. Thanks for staying up with us. Evacuations were halted for some 2,200 people in Kashechewan today. CTV's Angela Campbell now with the latest on the effort to help residents.
After 5 flights Thursday, evacuations out of Kashechewan were halted Friday due to the weather. But the chief says the state of emergency is a public health concern for the entire population.
We're looking for a good weather tomorrow to start the evacuation again and through the coming weekend and through the coming weeks.
Last weekend, the water treatment system failed, sending sewage into homes and contaminating the water supply. Indigenous Services Canada has sent technicians to help repair the failing infrastructure, but the chief isn't sure how long that will take.
We're hopeful that everything will be done. I'm not going to say the dates with the days, but we're just waiting for that confirmation from them.
They are without potable water, and the community's only health clinic had to be moved to a temporary site after being flooded with sewage. While the clinic is open, it can only take emergencies at this time. It's why the chief wants a full community evacuation. Managing evacuations is the Lumex Group, the province's vendor for activations like this. They'll work to get spaces in Kapuskasing filled up before moving on to the next evacuation hub, which is being set up in Kingston.
I want to get these people to safety so they have some running water to bathe and drink and have a shower and, you know, all the everything that we enjoy every day. I want to see them out of there to get a break from that.
The First Nation continues to work with ISC to get all the problems rectified.
Keep going at it, keep pushing what needs to be done in our community.
Chief Wesley says he's extended an invitation to Indigenous Services Canada Minister Mandy Galmasti to come visit his community and see firsthand what the situation is like. He hasn't heard back. Angela Gamble, CTV News, Sudbury.
As we told you about last night, the city of Greater Sudbury has terminated 6 employees without cause, as it says it's moving in a new direction. CTV's Alana Everson has the latest now on the situation.
Greater Sudbury CAO Sherry Lichterman talked to CTV about what led to the terminations of 5 management positions and 1 support staff. She calls them difficult decisions.
Over the last 10 months since I've been here, I've been working through some organizational changes to help improve how the city delivers services, and ultimately sometimes in order to move change forward, you have to change some personnel.
We have learned the terminated employees are Kevin Folk, General Manager of Corporate Services, David Shelstead, Director of Engineering Services, Melissa Rooney, Deputy Chief of Paramedic Services, Jesse O'Shell, Deputy Fire Chief, and 2 additional positions.
Well, really my reference to a new direction is about the fact that I was brought in as the new CAO, and council and the public, you know, we're looking for change, looking for us to do a better job in the way that we deliver our services, looking for us to manage our finances in a better way, find efficiencies.
City Councillor Natalie Labby says she has complete faith in the city's new CAO and the approach she took in this decision.
They're difficult decisions, but it's part of a broader direction from council since 2022 about where we wanted to see the city go with different departments. There's been a lot of restructuring happening over the last few years, and our new CAO has demonstrated a lot of professionalism and integrity.
City Councillor Bill Leduc says he will be asking for an investigation into the terminations.
We just recently lost our Auditor General, which would have been able to investigate the reasoning behind all of this.
I acted, well within the authority of my office and certainly with the support of Mayor and Council.
The city's CAO confirms the terminated employees are entitled to severance pay, which is currently being negotiated with each individual. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Wikwemicong Tribal Police have netted more than $30,000 in drugs and cash. According to police, they responded to a report of an unwanted person on Wikwemicong Way last night. Police found him a short while later. Through their investigation, they say they seized $30,000 worth of cocaine and fentanyl, along with a substantial amount of cash. A 22-year-old from the Toronto area is being charged with break and enter as well as trafficking. The city of Elliot Lake today providing an update on the Rogers Arena project. It posted these photos saying several projects were completed, including new weeping tile and rigid insulation on the east side of the building. Studs, ledger beams, and cross braces have been replaced on that side of the rink. Renovation work has also begun on the lobby and change rooms. According to the Post, the city says work on the east curtain wall will continue with hopes of completion in 3 months. Once the wall is completed, the roof and flooring will be the next priorities. A Sudbury couple is sharing a terrifying story after their dog was attacked by a pack of coyotes. It happened earlier this week in a Minnow Lake neighborhood. CTV's Lindsay Alick has their story.
On Tuesday morning around 8:30 a.m., Taylor Knupchuk was outside with her 2 dogs when they began to bark. At first, she thought it was another dog in her yard, but she quickly realized it was a coyote. One of her dogs ran to her while the other took off.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere, just like 4 more just came out of nowhere, and they all had the run on her.
She ran inside to get her brother-in-law, and they both started making as much noise as possible.
The only time they stopped is when he finally started his snow machine and kind of like made noise, and then they stopped for a split second.
It was enough for 6-year-old Dakota to escape, but not before being bitten several times. She was treated at the Walden Animal Hospital, where Dr. Carolyn LaRiviere has been a vet for 25 years. She says, unfortunately, coyote attacks are fairly common.
In Moonglow subdivision, one of our very good clients let his Springer Spaniels out into his fenced backyard. The coyote jumped the fence and attacked his dog Monty. They're not afraid of this environment that we live in. Neighborhoods are hunting grounds for them.
She says they will go after cats and dogs regardless of size, no matter the time of day.
The best thing to do in that scenario, 1, always have your dog on a leash so that they don't go chasing the coyotes, because that's part of their game plan. 2, if they do come around, making yourself large, making yourself loud.
She says it's hard to know how many animals fall victim to attacks each year, but says this time of year is especially high for incidents.
Coyotes go into their mating season around mid-end of January all the way through April, and that's when they become very brazen. They're more aggressive than before.
The couple says they have tried reporting the sightings to the MNR, but haven't received a response. Meantime, when CTV reached out, we were told that municipalities lead local response to interactions. They simply support communities, providing guidance and best practices. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
The province announced more than $1.3 million to boost economic development projects in Timmins. As CTV's Lydia Chubak reports, 2 of the companies are Indigenous owned.
To make this announcement because it's a good...
The Minister of Northern Economic Development and Growth made the funding announcement. George Peary says the money will be divvied up among 4 recipients. 3 are business owners and the other is the Matagami Region Conservation Authority. It's getting $130,000 so it can rejuvenate the 5-kilometer-long Rotary Trail.
It's a little wetter in spots and it's hard to maintain, especially after the summer we had last year with some of the rain, right? The fall was beautiful, so we were able to get some of that work done. But we're going to resurface the trail and hopefully raise it in some areas and provide some just a little drier substrate so it's easier to walk on.
Quality Contracting plans to use the $261,000 to purchase some commercial vehicles and equipment, and 2 other Indigenous-owned businesses plan to invest their money in renovations. Gord's Rentals, owned by Attawapiskat Enterprises, is receiving $781,000.
One of the purposes of our companies is to help sustain employment of Indigenous peoples. So now we can also increase our mechanics trainings and our services and our shops and all those different things as well.
It's quite the process for this application, and essentially a couple of years ago we put in for what we're sitting here today, right? So. But essentially, at the same time, it's still beneficial because what it allows us to do is put money, it matches our investment into our future renovations of our new shop.
Peary is encouraging more companies to submit applications for funding.
The whole budget for the Heritage Fund, the Northern Ontario Heritage Funding Corporation, is $110 million a year. And we're oversubscribed by about 2/3. So we have to have a very rigorous process in place to ensure that all these applications are vetted properly, to ensure that all these communities, in fact, are treated fairly.
Peary says the NOHFC makes about 7 bulk funding announcements a year. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
A major expansion is coming to an elementary school in Callender. CTV's Eric Tashner now with details on the planned renovations.
A true gift.
For years, the Nipissing Parry Sound Catholic District School Board has seen the region outside of North Bay grow. And with that comes a huge demand for classroom and childcare space.
It's a necessity almost to really expand this school. Enrollment in Catholic schools across the province is increasing.
The Ontario government is setting aside $9.4 million to add a new wing to St. Teresa Catholic School, creating over 90 new student classroom spaces and 3 new childcare rooms with over 53 new licensed childcare spaces.
Ontario recognizes the vital role that accessible childcare plays in supporting families across the province.
As a Catholic education community, we often say to one another, we live in hope. And it's moments like this one that remind us why we do.
The expansion is a welcome sign for the Catholic Board, and it comes at a time when the local public board, the beleaguered Near North District School Board, is under provincial control. Fideli says the difference is black and white.
They're cooperative, they're understanding, they obviously share things with their families that are involved. And then you see the other side, the other school board, who did none of the above.
St. Teresa currently has about 365 students enrolled at it. The school board saw the need for a future expansion about a decade ago, and 3 years ago it began to mobilize for it.
This summer, I think in August, we really put our feet on the ground to get the thing going.
The board is also looking at giving facelifts to other schools it controls. Expansion construction will start in the spring and is anticipated to end in December 2027. Eric Tashner, CTV News, Callender.
Canada Post issuing a red delivery alert today for the greater Sudbury, Timmins and surrounding areas. A red delivery alert means all mail delivery was suspended. Canada Post blames severe weather conditions as the cause for delayed delivery. It's also reminding the public to clear their walkways, driveways and any stairs that lead to your door or mailbox. Speaking of the weather, time now for a short break here on CTV News. Coming up, Rick will have your full weather forecast. For now, let's take a look at the current conditions. Here's something I don't get to say very often. We don't have any weather warnings in place. We did see some in around 69 and 11 earlier, some strong wind warnings, but those have now since rescinded. -9 in Kapuskasing, -9 in Timmins, seeing some light snow up through there along with Wawa and Chapleau. 0 in Sault Ste. Marie, 1 in Gore Bay, 1 down in Parry Sound. The lake area seems to be pretty warm. -3 with light snow in Sudbury, -5 in Timiskaming Shores. We'll have details coming up in a moment.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Well, much to the relief of a lot of people, we've got a change of weather. We go from rain and milder temperatures to some snow and some colder temperatures. Forecast radar, as issued by Environment Canada, we've got a system coming in on Saturday. 5 to 10 centimeters of snow in the forecast for North Bay and for Greater Sudbury, and a few centimeters in other areas overnight. Chance of flurries in Greater Sudbury. Pretty well the same story right across the Northeast. More of the same in Sault Ste. Marie, Timmins, Temiskaming Shores, 2 to 4 centimeters, and North Bay. Snow, rain, and flurries. Kind of a mixture of just about everything. Snow and flurries in Moosonee, Kapuskasing, chance of flurries. More of the same in Wawa, Gore Bay, and overcast in Parry Sound. Now your numbers for the next couple of days. Sudbury, Nickel Belt, chance of flurries for tomorrow. Then 5 to 10 centimeters of snow tomorrow evening. Chance of flurries on Sunday. More of the same on Monday. Tuesday, chance of snow Wednesday on the cool down at minus 11 degrees. So a nice transition from some milder temperatures to colder weather with the snow by midweek next week. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, periods of snow for tomorrow, then a few centimeters tomorrow evening, minus 3. Chance of flurries for no less than 3 consecutive days. Then the chance of snow by Wednesday. And again, some sun, some cloud, and the chance of snow at minus 7 as things begin to cool down again by midweek next week. In Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, mainly cloudy tomorrow, minus 7. Chance of flurries on Sunday. Chance of flurries Monday and Tuesday. Chance of snow Wednesday. Minus 15, your expected daytime high. Drastic change. You go from minus 4, minus 5 to minus 15, your high by midweek next week. Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, cloudy skies tomorrow, minus 5. Chance of flurries for 3 consecutive days. Then the change by Wednesday, minus 14, your high with the chance of snow. Chance of flurries on Thursday with a high of minus 12. Let's not forget North Bay and West Nipissing. Chance of flurries tomorrow, minus 3. Again, 5 to 10 centimeters by tomorrow evening. Sunday, chance of snow, chance of flurries on Monday. Tuesday, chance of snow Wednesday. And again on Thursday, minus 12 and minus 10, your expected high. So, Ian, we go from rain to snow and some colder weather by about midweek next week. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Rick. Well, for now, a look at the... thanks so much. Warm weather is putting the brakes on snowmobiling across the region, however. The OFSC has closed trails due to mild conditions and deteriorating snow cover. The cold temperatures are in the forecast. Trails are expected to reopen by mid-next week. Riders are being urged to stay off closed trails and watch for updates before hitting the snow again. The province has announced it is suing Keel Digital Solutions for what it calls fraudulent misrepresentation. That same company is at the center of the Skills Development Fund scandal. CTV Siobhan Morris has details.
The Ford government wants $27 million from Keel Digital Solutions. For 3 years, funding flowed from the Ministry of Colleges and Universities for an online program to offer mental health support to students. The government now accuses the company of deceit and obstruction, of inflating the number of help sessions to drive up its payout. In a filing with Ontario's Superior Court, the government writes, the false reports caused the Crown to pay the corporate defendants millions of dollars that they otherwise would not have been paid. The government's claims haven't been tested in court. Last month, the OPP's anti-rackets branch launched an investigation into this. Keel has denied wrongdoing and says a counterclaim is coming. In a statement, their COO calls the government suit deeply flawed, built on misstatements and outright inaccuracies, stressing that Keel Digital has never been involved in any fraudulent activity, and they fully expect the government to be compelled to retract its claims, apologize, and answer for the recklessness and malice that drove this case. This suit puts the spotlight back on the Minister of Labour and the $2.5 billion Skills Development Fund.
Speaker, we don't need anyone on this side of the House to tell us to support our first responders, to support their training, to support their mental health.
Puccini's admitted to boosting Keel's low-scoring application for cash. The suit makes clear the money went out the door after a deep dive into the company's billing had begun.
It doesn't make a lot of sense for one ministry to issue or to launch an audit into a company and then for another ministry to give them $7 million. That's either incompetence or corruption.
Puccini's rinkside outing and a trip to Paris to spend time with Keel-connected friends have been under scrutiny. The Premier said this week he has no plans to move his minister.
With any program that large, there's going to be tweaks, and that's what we're going to do. And do I have confidence in David Puccini? Yes, I do.
Baffling to the Liberals.
How can the minister still be there? The minister's still there because the Premier is actively engaged, and his government, in covering this up.
Puccini is under investigation by Ontario's Integrity Commissioner, checking if he broke any ethics rules in awarding taxpayer funds. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
We often have a plan for how we want to live, but few of us have a plan for how we want to say goodbye. A Sudbury woman is joining a growing movement of professionals looking to change the conversation. CTV's Amanda Hicks has more.
Ashley LaBelle is a death doula, otherwise known as an end-of-life doula. She found her calling following the loss of her sister, who was the first heart-in-a-box donor in Northeastern Ontario.
I was that safe space that was non-judgmental, that my entire family was able to come to, you know, be sad, be mad, scream, do what they had to do. And when I did see that there was such thing now out there in Canada and around the world as a death doula, I was like, you know what, this is my calling.
As a death doula, she isn't there to provide medicine, but to provide a map, offering practical advocacy, legacy planning, and emotional support.
This is another resource with regard to breaking down barriers. There's been for many, many years, likely decades, if not centuries, this whole taboo about we don't talk about death. Well, it's an inevitable part of the human journey. So the more information we have, the more people are empowered to make good decisions and also to provide good support.
It's a role that is gaining interest. LaBelle says the profession has tripled across Canada over the past 3 years. Laurentian University offers one of the country's few accredited programs.
Because we're starting to normalize the conversations around death and dying well, people are becoming more interested and curious and wanting to be able to support in a much more holistic manner.
To bring those conversations to the light, LaBelle is launching monthly death cafes in Sudbury and bi-monthly in North Bay. It's a space to talk openly over coffee and cake.
We all want to have a good birth. We all want to give birth to our kids, you know, in a good way. Why is it not okay for us to die well? And the Death Cafe part is to be able to talk about that.
The Death Cafe will be held at the Lougheed Funeral Home in Hanmer on Tuesday, January 13th, starting at 6:30 p.m. Admission is free, but donations are welcome. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
Still ahead tonight on CTV News. We'll show you how one Ontario man's idea of a creative rink led to using some unorthodox space. That story after this. It was a very busy night for Northern Ontario hockey fans. Let's start in Sudbury, where the Wolves were playing host to the visiting Niagara Ice Dogs down at the Elgin Street Arena.
The goaltender was Coughlin. Now sprung on a break. Zada, opportunity, backhand shot, glove save for Fresca. Breakage in the action.
Sudbury netminder and one of the Wolves' newest imports, Paolo Fresca, making the save into the dying minutes of the second. A strong period there for Sudbury with 2 goals. That would be the end of the happy news, though, for Sudbury there, as Niagara ends up proving their bark was bigger. They get a pair of goals in the third to take the game 4-2. Meanwhile, another tough night for the Eastern Conference league-leading Ottawa 67s, who are in the midst of their Northern Ontario tour. They swung through Sault Ste. Marie tonight. A pair of goals from Jordan Sharon helped propel the Hounds to a 2-1 victory. And the troops were on the road. The battalion in Brampton tonight taking on the Steelheads. What a night to be a North Bay fan. Lyra Mamadovsky with 1 goal and assist. He gets the first star of the game as the battalion sailed to a 5-1 win. And the Sudbury Wolves making a deadline day deal. Kieran Walton and a 7th round pick are headed to Peterborough in exchange. The Wolves pick up 5 priority selections along with a defenseman. And there There were a slew of games over in the NOJHL tonight, starting in Powassan, where the Voodoo get a win in front of the hometown crowd over the visiting Espanola Paper Kings. Another big win for the Sudbury Cubs, who were down in Noelville taking on the French River Rapids. Final score: Sudbury 9, French River 3. The Timmins Rock win out over the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners 8-3, and a big win down in Michigan with the Sioux Eagles. They send the Blind River Beavers home with a 5-3 loss. Finally tonight, some Canadians build backyard ice rinks in the winter, but one Ontario man took the tradition to new heights with an ice rink in the second-story loft of his barn.
Great for the kids. They're able to come and skate at Nana and Papa's anytime they want. It helps them practice their skills for hockey.
John Ryan built the rink with his kids. It's complete with lights and boards. Now Ryan's grandchildren are taking advantage of the opportunity, and with another grandchild on the way, it's the perfect place to sharpen their skills and get some quality family time. What an incredible use of space. I can't even imagine the physics that take that up, and good for them. That's our newscast this Friday night. For the latest news anytime, remember you can head to our website, ctvnewsnorthernontario.ca. You can also download our CTV News app. We hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you right back here on Monday. Thanks for watching. Good night.